Piercing the corporate veil, part 3. What else might a court look at when it decides whether or not to pierce your corporate veil? Undercapitalization. What does that mean? That means that your company doesn't have enough assets to support its liabilities. So, in many cases, that's standard for a person or a company. We have a lot of debt, right? But do we manage our debt properly? And do we have proper insurance when we're not necessarily properly capitalized? Let's use an example. Let's say you get hit by a taxi cab, and that taxi cab has the minimum required insurance. Let's say that insurance is $15,000. But God forbid your injury is a lot worse than $15,000. Well, the taxi cab had its minimum insurance. You can go sue the driver, and you could sue the company, and you could sue the taxi cab, and they say, hey, bud, sorry, all we have is $15,000 of insurance. And you might want to say, well, wait a second, you're a taxi cab driver. You probably run into things all the time. Why do you only have $15,000 in insurance? And their answer is going to be something like, well, that's all we have to have. And you'll say, well, wait a second, you guys are a huge taxi cab company. So there's got to be other taxi cabs, and there's got to be a big company behind it that's got maybe $1 million or $2 million in coverage. And they say, oh, no, we actually just formed ABC Taxi LLC just to buy this one taxi cab medallion. And we actually have a mortgage on the medallion with the guy that we bought it from. So we don't have any assets at all. All we have is this liability that we have to pay for this taxi cab. And $15,000 in coverage. What happens now? Well, one of the things that you can do is you can potentially go after the parent company of the taxi cab and say, look, you guys are doing this on purpose. You're opening multiple entities that all do taxi cabs, but you're all operating with the same common purpose. And you're purposefully creating these entities that have the bare minimum insurance. But when it comes time to sue the taxi cab company for its assets, well, there are no assets. And so you're undercapitalized and potentially underinsured. Let me give you one more example. How about in the real estate industry? One company owns 20 different properties. Each one of those properties is under a different LLC. Those LLCs all pay one management company. If something happens to one of those entities on one of the LLCs, hopefully they have adequate insurance. But if they don't, maybe they have the bare minimum. Maybe they don't have any insurance at all. What can you do? Well, in one of those situations, there might be an argument to pierce the corporate veil of the entire corporation. It's to say, hey, look, you guys are purposefully structuring this company to have a separate LLC for every single entity. And then you have a property management company or an asset company or a holding company that essentially sucks all the money out of these LLCs so that if one of them gets sued, there's nothing there. But if those LLCs and the property management company and those other management companies and those other companies have common ownership, same owners, same managers, same people involved, then there is the argument to say that this is effectively all one company and it's essentially the corporate formalities are just a facade. Now, these aren't easy arguments to make, but they are arguments that can be made if a company doesn't have adequate insurance or is undercapitalized. These types of cases are usually very fact intensive with their own circumstances, and every case is different. It's hard to say what one case will be or won't be without hearing all the facts. That's why consultations are always free at Kaminsky Law. Please don't hesitate to call 215-876-0800. Email us. We're always around.